Hey everybody, Goosebumps or Dummies here, legally on paper, given the birth name. And today we are going to be reviewing They Call Me the Night Howler. Not me. I'm not saying they call me the Night Howler. I'm too fat to be a superhero. Reviewing the book, They Call Me the Night Howler, as I'm showing right here. Can you see it? Oh, well, for the longest time this has been a very invisible Goosebumps book, so I won't be surprised if you just didn't see me holding it right here, or to even realize it, just because of how fucking unpopular it is. Yeah, They Call Me the Night Howler. Easily the least popular Goosebumps story of all time. And I'm being dead serious. Elevator to Nowhere and Escape from Horror House are pretty unpopular GYGs, and they don't even compare to the sheer untalked-aboutness of They Call Me the fucking Night Howler. The only thing I know this book is known for is A, Dr. Maniac free. Yes, this is a spoiler review, and yes, Dr. Maniac's in this book. This is the third Dr. Maniac entry. This is a Dr. Maniac story. And B, this is actually quite a lot like another R.L. Stine associated book, Shout a Girl from the Nightmare Room series, which I have read that book. It's definitely a bit better than this. Not that this is bad at all. I actually have a great opinion on it. But yeah, this is easily the least popular Goosebumps book ever. And it's actually almost known for that at this rate. And that is thanks to the cover art. It's not even bad, it's just, are you really going to want to pick this thing up after seeing a pair of gloves, eyeballs, and curtains? No. So yeah, let's dive into it. And now for the blurb. This is Slappy's world. You only scream at it. Mason Brady loves comics. He knows every hero, villain, and sidekick. He even draws his own characters. On a trip to his favorite place, the Comic Book Characters Hall of Fame Museum, Mason explores every exhibit. He even comes across the very real Night Howler. But when villains start terrorizing the town, Mason realizes that his whole life's about to change. Will Mason be able to be a superhero or just a super zero? Yeah. Simple concept. Very simple. Comic Geek turns into a superhero, isn't very good at it, and has to overcome his issues. It's actually really good. I really enjoyed this simple concept, and I really enjoyed this story. And it does have some small things that eat away at it, and honestly, even after reading it, it's not memorable either, which help explains why it's so forgotten. It's a really good story. It's a bit above average. But it's not memorable, which is almost an issue, but that's just possibly my fault. It's not something I absolutely love, and I usually don't think about books I don't absolutely love very often. Like, I don't think about Scarecrow very often, but I think about Haunted School almost every day, so yeah. Let's dive into what I liked about it. Anything can be summed up into a simple upside, and that is just the story itself. This story is really what keeps it, so high. Is it amazing? No, but it's really good. It's a really good story. It's not like it's gonna be fucking blowing you away, whole ass novel of character film. It's just a really good story, even if it doesn't really fit into the kids' horror genre, which we'll talk about later. Though it does fit into a obviously younger audience. The Night Howler, They Call Me the Night Howler, is just a genuinely decent story and is a very good read. It's fun, it's got some great things to factor into why it's a good story, which we'll get to in a second, and overall, it's very recommendable in case you're looking for something cool involving superheroes and Goosebumps. Yeah, it's a good story, very good story, and a very good read. And some things to factor into that are like the villains. There's a lot of super villains and generally just villainous characters that show up in this book. Most notably, Dr. Maniac, but there's some other characters that do show up. Dr. Maniac is easily the best of all these villains that do appear though, and I liked what Stine's able to cook with him this time around. He may or may not team with other villains, which is really cool to see. And yeah, it's a genuinely great time whenever they're on page or in the story. Yeah. Great villains, and they're always nice characters to read, especially Dr. Maniac. Main character becoming the Night Howler is really cool, and all the things to factor into that, as well as the ending is very nice. And overall, this book is a genuinely highly recommendable book, even if it is forgettable. At least for me personally, because it's obviously not an all-time fave, it's just a really good book. Yeah, that's about all there is to say. I guess the whole intro segment's pretty cool. with, of course, him discovering the Night Howler in his own room, and basically learning the identity of Night Howler and getting to know, well, who it is. And there's also a cool mechanic about identity and how you're not supposed to reveal it, which factors into the ending. Pretty cool. So yeah, overall, really good book, but it has some small issues that kind of wear it down. It's really things just kind of adding up in this book that don't really, add to it. The friends, and basically some of the characters. Little sister is annoying. It's what you'd expect, and it's never always, a good time. Unless it's terrible, and there's amazing, incredible, awesome payoff to that character being so horrible to read about. But it's like, on retrospective, wow, that's actually kind of fucking awesome. No, it's just one of those typical annoying sibling characters. Just happens to be the sister. But they do factor into the climax in some way, which is pretty cool. But, the friend characters are completely fucking useless characters here, and they contribute filler. So yeah. That's in here, I guess. They're really bland, one-sided characters, and there's even some YouTube, TikTok, Instagram references, not TikTok, but YouTube and Instagram, which is really weird feeling. It doesn't feel like Stine was writing this shit whenever that was happening, which is just strange. Alright, I'm not against modern references in modern Goosebumps books. There was a fucking paragraph about Fortnite in Diary of a Dummy. Huge spoiler, I know. That one had a huge modern reference. I was fine with it. Just here, felt weirdly, really inserted. So yeah, that whole segment involving that is just not exactly great. And of course, like I said earlier, this isn't very kids horror-esque. This is easily the least scariest modern Goosebumps book, at the least modern, ever. Arguably, How We Learned to Fly is scarier. And I'm not saying Dr. Maniac ain't scary. It can be pretty creepy and unnerving, because he's, a fucking maniac. Is it supposed to be fun or scary? This book is easily more fun than scary, and it's not really a huge issue that it's not trying to be scary. Goosebumps has proven it doesn't need to be actually scary at all to be a good fucking book. Maybe not a great Goosebumps book, but a good book nonetheless. And this is just one of those cases where it's like kind of in between. It's still a good book, but it could have maybe been better or worse without scares. But I honestly think it could have used some horror elements in this book. Yeah, it's very unscary. And now for my rating. They call me the Night Howler. When I'm in the sheets at night, I'm screaming like a banshee. 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, decently high score. Only 1.5 off from being perfect. Thanks to those character-related issues and just How We Learned to Fly syndrome being in a bad effect here. Taking a toll on its score. Really good. Very commendable if you're looking for something a bit different, and obviously an underrated classic, or gem in a way. Depends on how much you like it compared to I do, but I really like this book. Not amazing, but I really, really think it is borderline great. Great is 9 out of 10, or high 8.5. This is about a low, middle 8.5. Check out They Call Me the Night Howler. Very unpopular, and not justified, honestly. Unless you hate Dr. Maniac. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this book review, and tell me what you think of They Call Me the Night Howler down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.